Today I'm sharing my top 10 dump and go crock pot recipes. All of these recipes are so simple and they are so easy to put together. You're not even gonna believe it, but they are packed full of flavor and they are definitely gonna please your family. Hey y'all, I'm Sammy and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I'm sharing my top 10 recipes from 2024 and they are all dump and go crock pot meals. I know, right? I'm excited too. So sit back and relax, grab you some sweet tea, and let me do all the cooking. Come on, y'all, let's go. So starting out, we're gonna make some smothered chops, and these did not disappoint, y'all. So into a sprayed 7-quart crock pot, I've got about a cup of onions that have been chopped up into the bottom of that. And then we're going to take our boneless chops right here. I use 2 packages, so I have 8 chops there, but you use as many as you need. I'm feeding 4 people. We're just going to season that up with a little bit of Birria Complete, some Kinder's buttery garlic and herb, because y'all know I love me some Kinder's. And then we're going to come in with some paprika. This kind of helps with the color of the chops since you're going to be cooking them in the crock pot. Plus, I just love paprika. Next up, we're going to add in about a half a cup of beef broth right into the bottom of this. Then we'll drain a 12-ounce can of sliced mushrooms, which is completely optional, but we love mushrooms here. Put those right over the top. Then you'll get you a big mixing bowl, and you'll mix together 1 can of cream of chicken and 1 can of cream of mushroom, along with 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and a half a cup of beef broth. You will mix this until it is well combined. Once you have that well combined, then you will go ahead and take that straight on over to your crock pot and dump that right over the top of those chops and mushrooms. Once you have that spread out over the top of those chops and the mushrooms, you will go ahead and pop that lid right on top of it, and you will set that on low from anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Mine cooked right about 5 hours, and you'll see that the chops kind of start breaking apart, so I would suggest only cooking them right about 4 or 4.5 hours. That way they stay together better. I mean, they didn't like totally separate, but you want your chops in whole. But I just served this over a bed of rice with some green beans and some homemade rolls. And y'all, that gravy that those chops made, amazing. Moving right along to my 3-packet pot roast and veggies. Y'all, this has got to be in the top 3. Not even kidding. You can never go wrong with a good old chuck roast in a crock pot. So I've got my 7-quart crock pot here, and I just sprayed it and then put about a cup of diced onions in the bottom, and I seasoned up 2 chuck roast and put them right on in there. Now I've got 2 cups of water in my measuring cup, and I'm going to use 2 packets each of Italian seasoning, ranch dressing, and brown gravy mix. You'll dump that right into the water in the measuring cup, and then go ahead and give that a good stir together just to make sure there's no missed spaces with all the seasonings in there. Once you have that mixed well together, you'll just take that right back over there to your crock pot and dump all of that goodness right over the top of them. Oh my goodness, y'all. This one is so good. Now you will add in your chopped up potatoes. Now I leave these pretty large chunks, but you can dice them up however you want to. Then we will go ahead and add in our carrots, which I peeled and chopped up as well. Left them in pretty large chunks too. Now we'll go ahead and season them veggies because the veggies need seasoning too. So I'm just going to sprinkle some Birria Complete over the top, a little bit of salt, and of course you gotta have pepper. We love pepper here. So you'll pop that lid right over the top. Now this one will cook as long as you need it to. Anywhere from 8 to 10 hours, and I usually do mine right at 10 hours. That way that roast is tender. Those veggies cook up perfectly, y'all. You can't ask for a more tender vegetable than what you get with cooking them with a roast. This was absolutely delicious, and I'm actually craving one right now, sitting here talking to y'all about it. It doesn't get much down home cooking than this. Definitely give this one a try, y'all. It's amazing. Number 3 on our list, and it's definitely in the top 3 as well, is this cheesy chicken, broccoli, and rice. So into a sprayed 7-quart crock pot, I took 2 pounds of boneless chicken breast, and I just diced those up. And we're going to season that up with some Birria Complete, some caramelized onion butter, and some buttery garlic and herb by Kinder's. We're going to take 1 package of the ranch dressing mix, and then we're going to give that a good stir together just to make sure all those seasonings get over all of that chicken. Once you have that chicken mixed up, we're going to take 1 bag of the chicken and broccoli and 1 bag of the cheddar and broccoli nor rice sides. And we're going to dump both of those right over the top of those chicken chunks. Next up is 1 can of cream of chicken and 1 can of cream of mushroom. Go right into the top of that. Make sure you scrape them sides, y'all. 1 medium onion diced up. Now we're going to take those soup cans and fill them on up with some chicken broth or stock, whichever you prefer, and dump both of those right into that crock pot. The original recipe calls for water, but chicken broth just gives it much more flavor. Once you've got all of that in there, you'll gently stir that together just to make sure that the soups are stirred up with the rice. You'll pop the lid on the top and let that cook for 2 hours on low. Once that has cooked on low for 2 hours, you will go ahead and add in 1.5 cups of cheddar cheese and 2 cups of cooked broccoli. And if I said low, I did not mean low. It should be 2 hours on high, y'all. You'll come back in here and stir all of that together. Now, I used frozen broccoli. I just chopped it up and kind of let it thaw out while this was cooking. You could use fresh broccoli if you wanted to. It would still be 2 cups, but I just wanted it to cook faster. So once you have all of that broccoli and cheese stirred up into your crock pot, you'll smooth that on out, and then you will top it with 3.5 cups of cheese. Now, I know y'all think that's a lot, but mo cheese, mo better. That's my saying. And you'll just put that right on over the top of that one before you pop the lid back onto your crock pot to let that cheese melt for about 30 more minutes. And it also cooks that broccoli too. So just make sure your crock pot is on low during this time. Now here it is once that cheese has melted on down, and y'all, I can't even begin to tell y'all how much I love this crock pot meal. It is so good, so definitely give it a try. And if you like what you're seeing in today's video, why don't you do me a huge favor and press that subscribe button and make sure that that bell is set to all so you never miss another video. Moving right along is Crockpot Mac and Cheese, and y'all, this one didn't disappoint. I've got my 7-quart sprayed crock pot with some nonstick spray. I cooked a 12-ounce box, 12 or 16-ounce box of elbow macaroni, just according to the directions. Then we'll go ahead and put a half a stick of butter in there with it. I just chopped that up. We're going to season that up with some pepper, y'all. You got to have some pepper and some mac and cheese. A little bit of salt because that butter is salted. So probably about a half a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of black pepper to this. Give that a good mix through. Then you'll add in 1 full can of evaporated milk right to the mixture, along with a half a cup of whole milk and 1 to 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. Once you have all of that in there, you will take 8 ounces of Velveeta cheese and just cube that on up and dump that right on in. Then we're going to add in 3 cups of whatever cheese you love. I did a New York white sharp cheddar and then just a normal sharp cheddar cheese because I like it on the tangier side, but like I said, use whatever cheese you wanted to. You will save 1 cup of that cheese to go on top. So actually you just add in 2 cups of cheese. So once you get that stirred in, you'll pop the lid on your crock pot and let that cook on low for 2 hours. Once the 2 hours is up, you'll come back in and you will add in the other remaining cup of cheese. Now, I did come back in and stir it periodically just to make sure all that cheese was mixed through. But once you have the cheese on there, pop that lid back on it and let it sit for about 20 minutes and that cheese melts perfectly. And this is so, so good. It is moist. It is not dry. So definitely give this crockpot recipe a try if you're looking for another delicious mac and cheese. You can never go wrong with a cheesy mac and cheese. Now, moving right along into this pineapple teriyaki chicken, it has got to be in the top 3. I know I've said that, so maybe we'll say the top 5. So into a sprayed 4-quart crock pot, I've got 2 pounds of chicken breast that I just chunked on up. We're going to add some adobo seasoning in there, and then we'll add in the other pound of chicken, and we'll also season that too. Then we'll take 1 8-ounce can of 100% pineapple juice, dump that right over the top, along with a 12-ounce bottle of teriyaki sauce. You can use whatever brand you want. As you could see, I use the Food Line brand. Then we'll take a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, put that right over the top of that. And of course, y'all know we got to have some garlic. So I added in about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. And then you'll just give that a good stir together. Once you think it's stirred enough, you'll go ahead and pop the top onto your crock pot and cook that on low for about 4 hours. And the smell is amazing, y'all. It is so good. Now, once those 4 hours was up, I went ahead and just gave that a good stir together just to make sure it was all mixed well. And then I come in with my little handy dandy meat chopper just to kind of break those chunks of chicken up a little bit more. And I served this over a bed of white buttered rice and some steamed broccoli. Now, I did reserve a little bit of that teriyaki sauce to drizzle over the top. So I probably used about 10 ounces in the crock pot, and I used the other 2 to dress it, as we call it. And then I just put some white sesame seeds over the top and some fresh green onions. And y'all, I'm telling you, if you like that Asian flavor, definitely give this one a try. And it's healthier since you've got the chicken and the broccoli. It is so good. Now, moving right along to number 1 are these Birria Tacos. So good, y'all. All these are amazing, and they're so simple. This is the thing. Crockpot meals don't have to be difficult. So I found a jarred Birria sauce at Kroger's. It's the private selection. I just dumped a little bit into the bottom of a sprayed 7-quart crock pot, and then I took my chuck roast and put that right over the top of that, and then poured the remaining jar over top. I believe it was a 20 or 24-ounce jar of the Birria sauce. You will cook that on low for 10 hours, and it is the best ever. And I'm sure you could do like a pork roast with that too, but I love the beef chuck roast. I think it has the best flavor, and as you can see here, it just shreds perfectly. And you do want to make sure that this is shredded because you're going to make some tacos. So my oldest son Josh was actually helping me cook this night because he loves these Birria tacos. So he's got some corn tortillas or flour tortillas, and we put some cheese right over top of that. We used a Mexican cheese, and we took some of our birria meat, put that right over the top with some chopped up onions, some fresh cilantro right over the top of those. And as that's cooking, that bottom of that tortilla is getting nice and crispy, as you can see right there. Oh my goodness, y'all, my mouth is watering. We just folded those over in half, and these were ready once that cheese gets all nice and melty, because you want that onion to stay crunchy. I served it with some yellow rice and a little bit of sour cream, and we also had the birria sauce itself to dip that right on into, because trust me, you want to take that crispy taco and dunk it right into that birria sauce. It is amazing. You can see it dripping there on my plate. Y'all have to try this recipe. I'll have the original version if you want to make it homemade, link down below. Now this one has definitely become a family favorite. It's chicken tot casserole. Actually, I would think of it more as like a chicken bacon ranch tot casserole. So in our 7-quart sprayed crock pot, I've got a 30-ounce bag of the frozen tater tots. I'm going to put half of that down in the bottom. Then we're going to take about a half a cup of the bacon bits, sprinkle those on top of that. Then we'll take 1 cup of the triple cheddar cheese, or whatever cheese you like, put that over the top with about 2 pounds of diced up chicken or chunked chicken. We're going to season that with some buttery garlic and herb, the black garlic, and some Kinder's buttery poultry blend as well. As some caramelized onion butter goes right over the top, and a little bit more of the bacon bits. Now this is where we just start repeating the layers. So once you have this, you'll just keep repeating that on up to the top. But if you're liking today's video, make sure you give me a big old thumbs up. It does truly help my channel out, and I really appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out and supporting me and my family. Now that we have the last layer of tots over the top, you'll put some bacon bits and another about half a cup to a cup of cheese over the top before you take 3/4 cup of milk and drizzle that right over the top of it. Then your lid goes on this, and this cooks on low for about 4 to 5 hours. And trust me, it cooks up perfectly. Even the tater tots on top get crispy around the edges. Trust me, it's not burnt. That is crispiness heaven right there. Then you'll take 2 cups of cheese, pour that right over the top of your tots, pop that lid back on it, and just the heat from this will melt that cheese on down, and it gets all nice and ooey gooey. Oh, y'all, this one is amazing. Y'all have to give it a try, and if you do, please let me know if you've tried it down below. Now to serve it, I just put some extra shredded cheddar cheese on there and drizzled it with some ranch dressing and some parsley. Y'all, this one was so good. I think I ate 2 helpings of this. It was amazing, and my family absolutely loved it, and it's a different version of another tater tot casserole, so you can't really go wrong with chicken bacon ranch and tater tots. Not in my opinion anyways. Definitely give this one a try. This one right here is a pizza pasta casserole, and the idea and inspiration was given to me my sweet friend Erin. She is a sweetheart, and I had to try this because her daughter Kenzie absolutely loves it. So I browned up 2 pounds of ground beef, put in an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, a 8-ounce can of tomato paste, and 1 24-ounce jar of marinara sauce goes right in the mix. You will stir all of that together because this is what makes your sauce for your pizza pasta casserole. Then you'll take a 7-quart sprayed crock pot. You will cook down 12 to 16 ounces of your favorite pasta. We're going to do this in layers. So I took 1/3 of the pasta and then put that into the bottom, drizzled some of that sauce over. And now we're going to take some chopped up pepperonis, put that right over the top of the sauce and noodles. Then we're just going to repeat these layers once we have the first layer of cheese on, as you can see here. And like I said, we're just going to repeat those steps until we get to the very top. So you just do 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. Once you get to the top, as you'll see here in just a second, I finish with the noodles, pour the rest of that sauce on over there, put the cheese on there, and then we're going to finish it off with the sliced pepperonis this time. That way it's all nice and pretty over the top of these. You will put the lid on this beautiful casserole right here, and then you will let this cook on low. Since the noodles and everything is already done, you'll let it cook on low for about 2 to 3 hours, just so everything can kind of meld together. But I promise you, you will never want to make it any other way than this. It is so simple and so easy. And look at the cheese and the deliciousness right here, y'all. It is so good. You definitely have to give this one a try. I promise you, you will not be disappointed, and it will make even the pickiest eaters satisfied if you try this pasta. It was amazing. It is definitely a 10 out of 10, and I hope you get to make it in the new year because you're gonna love it. Trust me. And I would also love if y'all would just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and become part of my YouTube family. Now this one is definitely amazing as well. This is why they are in my top 10 of 2024. This is lasagna soup, and it has got to be the easiest soup ever. Into a 7-quart sprayed crock pot, I've got about 1.5 pounds of ground beef that have already cooked up. We'll dump that right on in, along with 1 jar of drained roasted red peppers. Now you could chop those up if you want to, or just leave them in the slices. 1 can of petite diced tomatoes, 1 large can of the crushed tomatoes, 1 medium onion chopped up. We're going to season that with a teaspoon of Birria Complete. A teaspoon of Italian seasoning goes right on in there. I think I went ahead and used 2 because I love the Italian seasoning. Then we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of garlic minced. And then we're going to come in with 4 cups of beef broth. Now you can make this yourself, or you can buy the beef broth already made. Once you have everything in there, you will stir that very well until everything is combined and all those seasonings get through everything. You will pop that lid on it, cut that on low for 2 hours, and let everything simmer together to where you have a nice lasagna-y broth. And those roasted red peppers really add to it. If you don't like those, you could always leave them out, but it definitely adds to the flavor. Now we're going to take an entire box of lasagna noodles. We're just going to go ahead and break that into pieces. You could always use like a rotini noodle or anything, but just keep in mind that these noodles do soak up a lot of that broth. So you might want to keep some extra beef broth on hand if you need to add a little bit more liquid towards the end. So once you have all those noodles broke up, you'll go ahead and just let that cook on low for about another 30 minutes. And as you can see, those noodles have swelled on up and they have absorbed a lot of that liquid. But all we did was serve that up with some mozzarella cheese, some ricotta cheese, and some Parmesan cheese, along with a little bit of parsley. And y'all, this was perfection in a bowl, and it is the best soup ever. You definitely have to make this one in 2025. You will not be disappointed. It is hearty and it is such a delicious soup. You'll crave it. Trust me, you will. Now, last but not least, let's make some chicken bacon ranch pasta. This one was amazingly easy. Into a sprayed 7-quart crock pot, I've taken 2 pounds of chicken breast, boneless, skinless, and it was still frozen, and I've never had any issues with it. We're just going to season that up with about a teaspoon each of salt and pepper, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika. Then we're going to add in 1 entire package of the dry ranch dressing mix. Next, we're going to add in 1 24-ounce jar of the roasted garlic Alfredo sauce. This one has got to be my absolute favorite Alfredo jarred sauce. Then we're going to take that jar and fill it about halfway with water, and we'll give that a good old shake through and then pour that right over the top. We don't want to waste nothing, y'all. Then we're going to dump in 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Y'all know I love me some garlic over here, but if you don't like it as much, just use a little bit. Then we're going to add in about a 1/4 cup of bacon bits to the mix. Then we're going to put the lid on our crock pot and cook this on low for 4 to 6 hours. I did mine right about 5 hours right here since it was frozen. Then I cooked up 12 ounces of my pasta. I just used the Celentini pasta, and I already went ahead and chopped up my chicken just with my little meat mixer. And then we'll mix that pasta right on in together. And I did reserve about a 1/2 cup of that pasta liquid. That way it'll help that sauce form better, and it kind of thins it out a little bit so your pasta isn't as dry. Once you have that mixed well, it's time to serve it up. So I just went ahead and put it on a plate with some cheddar cheese, some bacon bits, and some parsley. Y'all, this had so much flavor in it, and it was so good. I think I ate on this for 3 days because I took it for lunches at work. It was amazing, y'all. Definitely try it. All right, y'all, that is it for today's video. I hope you loved this top 10 of 2024 for Dump and Go Crockpot meals. If you need some other foodie ideas, check out these other 2 videos on your screen right now. And if you need some prayers, let me know down in the comments below, and I would be honored to pray for you all. And until next time, from my heart to yours, God bless. Bye.